Picture two giants locked in a silent duel, their gazes unyielding, pride and power hanging in the balance. On one side, Donald Trump pushing for a deal, his voice echoing across oceans. On the other, Xi Jinping, stone-faced, refusing to flinch. The U.S. and China, bound by $690 billion in trade, now hurl 125% tariffs at each other like volleys in a war of wills. Trump says he's ready to talk. Xi bets China can outlast America's pain. We'll hurt, but you'll hurt more, Beijing declares, turning a trade spat into a test of endurance. What drives this clash, and who will blink first? Let's unravel this in 6 steps, diving into a battle reshaping the global stage. No fluff, just clear insights to guide you through this storm. Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Tariff Volley. In April 2025, the U.S.-China trade war roared back to life. Trump, fresh in his second term, slapped a 125% tariff on Chinese goods. Everything from toys to tech, aiming to choke Beijing's exports. China matched him blow for blow, hiking duties on American products to 125%, hitting farmers, oil exporters, and manufacturers. This wasn't just retaliation, it was a dare. Trump, ever the dealmaker, signaled he's open to talks, saying, China wants to make a deal, they just don't know how. But Xi, unmoved, ghosted the offer, leaving the White House waiting by the phone. The stakes are colossal. Last year, $690 billion in goods flowed between these titans, 14% of U.S. imports, from iPhones to sneakers. Now, tariff walls rise like fortresses, threatening to strangle trade. Social media buzzes with fears of soaring prices, from grocery bills to gas pumps. This isn't a numbers game. It's a clash of visions, with Trump seeking to reclaim American dominance and Xi betting on China's resilience to outlast the West. Chapter 2: Trump's Dealmaker Play. Trump thrives on negotiation, his real estate roots showing in every move. He sees tariffs as leverage, a sledgehammer to force China to the table. In his first term, he sparked a trade war that led to a Phase 1 deal, easing tensions with promises of U.S. farm exports. Now, he's doubling down, believing sky-high tariffs will break Beijing's resolve. They're proud people, he said of China, but they'll figure it out. His strategy hinges on pain. Make Chinese goods unaffordable, push factories back to American soil, and rally voters with a manufacturing revival. Yet the plan's not foolproof. Science shows trade wars spike costs. Consumers pay more as imports vanish from shelves. American farmers, still scarred from past battles, brace for losses as China turns to Brazil for soybeans. Trump's team insists the tariffs will spark a U.S. boom, but whispers on social media paint a different picture. Small businesses buckling, shoppers squeezed. For Trump, it's a high-stakes gamble. Win a deal or risk economic fallout that could tarnish his legacy. Chapter 3: Ind's Defiant Stance. Across the Pacific, Xi Jinping plays a different game. We're not afraid, he declared, framing China as a fortress ready to endure. His strategy? Outsuffer America. China's leaders believe their system, tightly controlled, free of election pressures, can absorb pain that would rattle Western democracies. Xi's vision, forged over years, is to wean China off U.S. markets, doubling down on self-reliance. From electric cars to AI, China's factories churn out 60% of the world's EVs, a sign of its industrial might. Xi's defiance has roots. He's weathered trade clashes before, emerging stronger by pivoting to Asia and Europe for trade. In Beijing's streets, state media spins the tariffs as American bullying, rallying citizens to tighten their belts. Science backs this grit. Shared hardship can unify a nation, boosting loyalty to leaders. But cracks show. China's markets wobble, and rural workers face job fears. Xi's bet is that America, with its vocal voters and divided Congress, will crack before China's resolve falters. Chapter 4: The Economic Fallout. This war of wills isn't fought in boardrooms. It's felt in wallets. U.S. shoppers face sticker shock, A smartphone, once $800, could climb past $1,000. Manufacturers, hooked on Chinese parts, scramble for pricier alternatives, driving up costs for cars and appliances. In China, exporters brace for layoffs as U.S. orders dry up, threatening millions of jobs. Both nations bleed, but the pain spreads unevenly. American consumers feel it at the checkout, while China's rural poor bear the brunt. Global markets shudder. Gold hits record highs as investors flee to safety, and U.S. stocks swing wildly, shedding gains from Trump's tariff pause on other nations. Science shows trade disruptions ripple. Higher costs fuel inflation, squeezing families already stretched thin. From Iowa farms to Shenzhen factories, the fallout is real, yet neither leader budges. Social media hums with dread. How do we afford this? The $690 billion trade lifeline, once a bridge, now frays under the weight of pride. Numbiem. Chapter 5. The Global Ripple. Beyond Washington and Beijing, the world feels the tremors. Europe, caught in the crossfire, scrambles to dodge U.S. tariffs while Xi courts allies like Spain, urging a united front against bullying. Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Malaysia, faces a flood of Chinese goods rerouted from America, risking their own trade wars. Brazil and Argentina gain as China swaps U.S. soy for South American crops, shifting global supply chains. The Black Sea and Indian Ocean, vital trade routes, brace for bottlenecks as costs soar. NATO allies watch nervously, fearing a weakened U.S. economy could strain defense budgets. Russia, eyeing the chaos, deepens ties with China, a strategic pivot that tilts global alignments. Science warns of cascading effects. Trade wars spark recessions, hitting smaller nations hardest. From African markets to Australian mines, the ripple grows, with social media amplifying fears of a global slump. This isn't just a U.S.-China feud. It's a test of the world's economic spine. Chapter 6. Who blinks first? The U.S.-China trade war, now a $690 billion staredown, pits Trump's deal-making bravado against Xi's ironclad resolve. Mutual 125% tariffs have turned pride into policy, with Trump betting pain will force talks, and Xi wagering China's endurance outstrips America's. The fallout, skyrocketing prices, trembling markets, spares no one. Yet neither leader yields, each tethered to a vision of supremacy. Globally, allies and rivals alike shift strategies, from Europe's hedging to Russia's opportunism, as supply chains buckle under strain. History shows trade wars end in deals or disaster. Here, the path is unclear. Romania's election chaos, fueled by digital wars, hints at how trust frays when powers clash. Now trade is the battlefield. As markets waver and voters groan, the question looms. Will Trump's gambit crack Xi's defiance? Or will China's grit outlast America's will? The world holds its breath, awaiting the next move in a duel that could redefine our era.